शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये. Om. Dear friends, we are seeing the 71st shloka of the second chapter of the Gita. That is, second chapter, as we know, is Sankhya Yoga, and we are reading the 71st shloka. That is, we have just almost coming to the end of the second chapter. And we have seen that Krishna is describing this Brahmagyani stage. Brahmagyani means a person who has realized the supreme reality. How does he stay? How does he behave? Arjuna asked, Sthitaprajnasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava. That is what he was asking. What are the how can you identify what is the way in which he behaves, he conducts himself? So then Krishna started describing as to what is a sthita prajna and what are the sadhanani, how exactly one can become sthita prajna, etc., etc. And in 71, we were just going through that sloka. Vihaya kaman yas sarvan puman sharati nispruhaha nirmamo nirahankaraha. We were there. Nirmamo nirahankaraha sa shanti madhigacchati. Nirmama, the meanings also I will be explaining, because some of you may be knowing Sanskrit, some of you may not be knowing Sanskrit, but still the words they are worth knowing. Nirmama, what is the meaning of mama? We know the two words are aham and mama. Aham, of course, we know, most of us know. Aham means the self. I means there is a particular identity for me. That aham is that aham. That aham I know. What is this mama? Mama is mine. I and mine. I and mine. So here what is he saying? Krishna is saying, Nirmamaha. So that notion of mine has gone. That is, this is mine, that is yours, this is mine, that is yours. So that means that the distinction between mine, the distinction between me and the other person, distinction between me and any other person, that has disappeared. And nirahankaraha. Ahankara is not arrogance. We usually use that word ahankara in the sense of pride. Oh, this man is having too much of ahankara. Ahankara means we use it in the sense of arrogance. But here it is not arrogance. Ahankara is that notion of I. In Vedanta, whenever you get the word ahankara, it does not refer to arrogance. In all the Vedanta texts, ahankara does not mean arrogance. Then ahankara, if he wants to tell about ahankara, he will use some other word. But ahankara means that notion of I, notion of self. I am this body-mind complex. So I define myself as a particular person. I define myself as somebody belonging to a particular class, particular religion, particular society, etc., etc. So that is ahankara. So nirahankara is what? Where that notion of I also has disappeared. How can this happen? So this can happen only when the man realizes that supreme truth, and when the person realizes that the supreme reality is not different from me, or rather I am not different from the supreme reality, what we call Brahman. And not only me, when I say that, this is where we are coming to that great statement called Aham Brahmasmi. I am that supreme Brahman, I am that reality. When I say Aham Brahmasmi, it is not a sort of egotistical statement. One thing which we have to be very clearly understand, one thing which we have to clearly understand is that Aham Brahmasmi is not an egotistical statement saying that, yes, I have become a very great man. It's not like that. Aham Brahmasmi means my individual identity is totally lost. My individual identity is totally lost in the identity of that supreme reality. So that is the meaning of that, Aham Brahmasmi. It is like a wave. It is like a wave realizing that it is not a wave but it is ocean. That is it. Like a salt doll which is put in an ocean. Examples given usually are, suppose you take some salt doll and then put it in the ocean. After some time it merges, it loses its identity. It is part of the ocean. So like that, I am that ocean of consciousness. So that is where nirmama, where that mine is gone, that ahankara, that I, notion of I also has gone. Such a person, nirmamaha, nirahankaraha, where that sense of duality, where the difference between you, me, etc., etc. has gone. So this is, in fact, Krishna is going to call it Sarvatma Bhava. Sarvatma Bhava is that the same reality, the same supreme reality, what we call Brahman, and what we have defined as that infinitely existing consciousness, that is what we have defined as, not we, that Upanishad defines. So the Upanishad has defined that reality as the infinitely existing consciousness. You and me, not only you and me, but even an ant, anything in the universe, and the whole universe itself is not different from that. So that is the reason why in the Vishnu Sahasranama, the very first name, what is the name? How does it start? Vishwam Vishnur Vashatkaraha. Vishwam Vishnu. Vishwam. Vishwam is that what? The whole universe. So the name, one of the names, the very first name for Vishnu is Vishwam. Vishwameva Vishnuhu. That is, the whole universe is only a manifestation. The whole universe is an appearance in that supreme reality called Vishnu. Vishnu again is not a person. Whenever we use the word Vishnu in Vedanta, outside Vedanta, okay, when you go to a Purana, when you are listening to some Vishnu Puranam or some other Puranam, Vishnu is a person with some 4 hands and whatnot, and a lot of weapons and whatnot. All again, all those are symbolic. Not that there is a person called Vishnu with 4 hands and then with Shankha, Chakra, Gada, etc., etc. It is not like that. It is just a symbolic representation. So Vishnu, the etymological meaning of Vishnu is Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. Vyapnoti, that which pervades, that which infinitely pervades, that which is existing. So that is what is called Vishnu. You call it Vishnu, you call it Brahma. Brahma again is Brahmanat Brahma. Brahmanam is, there is nothing bigger than that. Brahma again, we should not think of the 4-headed Brahma who is the husband of Saraswati. Whenever in Vedanta, in the Bhagavad Gita or in the Upanishads, whenever we are in the class of Upanishads, we should not think that Brahma is a person, he is the husband of that Saraswati, etc. So Brahma means that supreme reality. So when you are one with that, there is no question of difference. There is no question of difference between you and me. So this Sarvatma Bhava is something. People may ask, what is it that you are gaining by this Sarvatma Bhava? When a person is in that state of awareness, where that ego is totally gone, then absolutely he looks at the other man and he looks at the other man as himself. That is, there is some unconditional love. There is unconditional love for all the beings in the world, not only for human beings, for all the beings in the world. So that is the result of that. Sarvatma Bhava, the result is he treats every other being as that manifestation in that Brahman only. So that person, such a person, Nirmamo Nirahankara. So this is what is the meaning of Nirmama Nirahankara. The commentators have written Atma Sambhavana Rahita. That is Atma Sambhavana. Yes, I am so big, I am this, I am that, etc., etc. Sa Shanti Madhigachyati. So such a person, he will get that Shanti. And what is that Shanti? The next shloka is going to explain what is that Shanti. He is going to use a particular word called Nirvanam. Nirvana, he is going to use in the next shloka. I will read the next shloka, that is 72nd shloka, shloka number 72, which is the last shloka of the second chapter, that is Sankhya Yoga. Yesha Brahmi Sthitih Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati Sthitva Syamantakalepi Brahma Nirvana Mruchyati. So Yesha Brahmi Sthitihi Partha. Hey Partha, he is addressing Partha, he is addressing Arjuna. Yesha Brahmi Sthitihi. So this is again an important word. This Brahmi Sthiti means, the commentators have written Brahma Rupena Avasthanam Jnana Yoga Nishtha. What does it mean? It means that Brahma Rupena Avasthanam means a person, he is now transformed into that supreme reality. He is no longer his limited self. A person who is identifying himself as Ramaya, Krishnaya, etc., etc., he is no longer Ramaya, Krishnaya. He is something which is that supreme reality. He has lost his identity and he has identified himself with that supreme reality. That is what is called Brahmi Sthiti. Yesha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. Brahma, again, as I said, Brahma does not mean that 4-headed Brahma. Whenever we talk in Vedanta, we are talking only about that Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam, Brahma. The Satyam, again, I may be repeating because these are basic points in Vedanta. Otherwise, listening to Geeta, listening to some story, suppose I keep on telling some stories and I keep on entertaining you, you will be nowhere. You will be nowhere means you will be happy at the end of 20 minutes or 21 minutes. You have a happy feeling that, oh, nice, very nice. But what is the take-home message you have got? What is it that you have learned from Geeta? So Geeta is a very serious text. And this serious text we should not read on our own. However brilliant we may be, we should not read on our own. We have to listen to somebody who has really studied it. So when somebody is, in fact, I even now, when I listen to some greats Mahatmas, I even now take down notes. So this Brahma is defined as Satyam Jnanam Anantam. I will again explain. As I said, I may be repeating also. Satyam is, suppose I am sitting here today in this studio. Usually, okay, what is it? It is something, it is a fact. You are sitting there, it is a fact. So is this called Satyam? Satyam, this is not Satyam. This is not what Vedanta means as Satyam. The way in our normal language, in our normal parlance, what we say, okay, you tell the truth. Tell the truth, don't tell a lie. Truth is the opposite of lie. But here, Satyam is not the opposite of Asatyam. Then what is the difference between, how to understand it? Suppose I am here, you are here. I am here at this particular place, at this particular time, and I was not there in 18th century, I will not be there in 22nd century. And I am here, sitting here, and I am not there in some other place. I am XYZ and I am not something else. So that means I am limited by time, space, and desha, kala, vastu. By being limited in time, limited in space, and by being a particular individual or particular object, let us say, desha, kala, vastu. And Satyam is something which is beyond all these things. Satyam is something which has no beginning, no end. It was there millions and billions of years ago. You can't go back and back and back. However much you go back and back, it is always there. And however much you go into the future, think of the future, it is always there. And that existence as such is what is called pure existence, without names and forms and all that. We are all names and forms. I am a name and form, you are a name and form. So without all these names and forms, that existence which is always there, what is called Satyam. Then Jnanam, consciousness again. Consciousness again is something I think I explained earlier also. Consciousness is that intelligence, let us say. So when I suppose right from morning till evening, we are all awake. And we have got so many experiences, so many interactions, we see so many people and all that. And of course, I eat my breakfast, I eat my lunch, and then I speak to somebody else, etc., etc. So the same intelligence is there behind all these experiences. When I eat my breakfast, the same intelligence is there. When I eat my lunch, the same intelligence is there. When I look at this book, the same intelligence is there. When I speak, the same intelligence is there. Intelligence is something which is illumining all these activities. And when I sleep also, the mind again projects a dream situation. And when I go into deep sleep again, there is consciousness. Because when I wake up, again I say, okay, I slept very happily. I was so happy. That memory of happiness is very much there. So this consciousness, when did it originate? When did it begin? So we can't say it began at a particular point of time. When you say it began at a particular point of time, you need a witness for that beginning. When you say the consciousness has died, there you need a witness to say that the consciousness is no longer there. So nobody can say consciousness is not there, because when the person who is saying, he himself is a conscious being. So which means consciousness again, like existence and consciousness are one and the same. So existence and consciousness, which are beginningless, endless, and that thing is the supreme reality. There may be all other small realities may be there. Tentatively, I am also real, tentatively. You are also real, tentatively, because I am present here at this particular point of time in this particular place. So tentatively real. There is some tentative reality. It is not as though we are all zeros. There is some tentative reality, but absolute reality is there, what is called Brahman. So that is why it is defined as Satyam, Jnanam and Anantam. Anantam is something which is infinitely existing. You can't say it is here, it is not there. That is why Prahlada says, okay, it is there everywhere. When Hiranyakashipu asks, you show me your Vishnu. Where is Vishnu? Vishnu is everywhere, it is in you, in this. Okay, can you show in this pillar? Yes, it is there in this pillar. So that is what is the meaning of, it is not a story. It is not a story. It is philosophy told in the form of a story. So that Brahmi Sthiti, Brahma Rupena Avasthanam means, that is when a person has totally lost his individual identity, and when he is identifying in that particular state, as I said, the wave is no longer a wave, the wave has realized that it is ocean. So like that. And Vedanta also says one more thing. That is the knower of Brahman, a person who realizes that Brahman, he becomes Brahman. Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. It says Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. We don't say, suppose suppose I read chemistry, I don't become chemistry. If I read physics, I don't become physics. But when I realize about Brahma, when I understand Brahma, not intellectually, intellectual level, okay, all lecturers also can understand, but I have to purify myself. I have to really eliminate my ego. Once I really succeed in eliminating my aham and mama, as I said, nirmama and nirahankara, when it really disappears, at an intellectual level I may know, at an intellectual level I may give a talk, give a lecture like I am doing now. But really, whether my ego has really gone or not, we do not know. So, this I and Mama, when it totally disappears, then that is called Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. The knower of Brahman becomes a Brahman. So, this is something which is a rather strange statement. So, Yesha Brahmi Sthiti Partha Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. So, a person who is in this particular level, in this state of awareness, so what does happen to him? So, he is not a person who is not confused at all. So, this man is above all these things. This man is above all this religion, etc., etc., etc. He is in fact called Ati Varnashrami. He goes beyond this Varna, Ashrama, etc. So, Nainam Prapya Vimuhyati. So, all other people who are under delusion, that is, they cannot see the absolute reality. They are only hooking on to tentative reality. So, tentative reality means, okay, somebody says, my religion is greatest. Somebody comes and says, my religion is greatest. So, this person who is a realized person, who has gone beyond all these things, so he doesn't bother for all these quarrels. Nainam prapya vimuhyati. And sthitvasyam antakalepi. Brahma nirvanam ruchyati. Sthitva asyam antakalepi means even at the time of death, even by the time of death, let us say, even by the time of death, if he can attain that stage, that is, lifelong he has been doing some sort of sadhana, and for a long, long time he has been doing sadhana, and suppose he really becomes egoless, suppose his in mama and aham really disappear, even if it happens at the time of death, then he attains that nirvana, Brahma nirvanam ruchyati. So, stitvasyam antakalepi means even in old age. So, it is a sort of good news for all retired people, let us say, because retired people, they will be wondering, okay, only most of the people, they start reading Gita only after retirement, not prior to that. So, even if some young man is reading Gita, somebody else will say, okay, why are you reading Gita? This is only for retired people. So, okay, even those retired people, if they seriously understand what is Gita, what is Upanishads, what is there in the Upanishads, they have a chance of realizing what is this, and then at least in old age, we can give up our whatever shoka, moha, whatever say anger, greed, lot many prejudices and all these things. At least at that time, a person can, if he can purify himself, because in all our literature, what is told is self-purification. It is not knowledge which is given importance, it is self-purification. A man may be a great professor, but if he is not internally pure, if there is no internal purification, then that is not the thing. So, that is the ideal. So, but one problem is there. Sthitvasyam antakalepi. Recently I read in the newspapers, somebody is saying, okay, I will commit all sins, now I will enjoy all things, and at the time of death I will think of Narayana and I will attain moksha. But it cannot happen, because there is what is called samskara. Samskara means whatever actions we do, whatever experiences we do have, they leave some sort of indelible impressions on our mind. So, they are called the samskara or the vasanas. Vasana or the samskaras. They are the indelible impressions. So, those indelible impressions, they cannot be built on one day. They have to be cultivated over a period of time. So, if these things have to be cultivated over a period of time, then a person cannot wait till about 80 years or so. Okay, till 80 years I will enjoy, I will have all types of drugs and I will enjoy, and then at the age of 80 I will think of Narayana. It cannot happen. So, that is what we are also going to see in the 8th chapter. In the 8th chapter of Gita, Krishna is going to say that. So, these samskaras have to be built up gradually. So, antakalepi Brahma nirvanam ruchyati. So this Brahma Nirvanam is again another technical word. Nirvanam, this is a word which is also used in Buddhism. Nirvanam is also used in Buddhism. I think it needs some explanation. We will continue in the next episode tomorrow. Harihi Om Tat Sat.